GM, and welcome to Solana's finest podcast, Sol Brothers, with a guest host, Vibhu, today, and myself, Simon, where it is our job to throw you into the Solana rabbit hole, show you around in our exciting ecosystem, and, well, have some fun. Vibhu, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here with me today. How are you doing?
What's up, Simon? I'm jet lagged. Just trying to get through the day. Let's do this.
That's all right, bro. We're all a bit under the weather right now, I think. Literally, everyone on my timeline is like a little bit fucked up. But that's okay. I got my monster here. It is 8:30 in the morning, 8:13 in the morning here on the other side of the world. And we got a lot of shit to talk about, actually, Vivo, because that was a big fucking breakpoint, not gonna lie. So I think most people, by now, it's actually old news. Like, the whole timeline is full of breakpoint was so nice. So I don't really want to talk about that anymore. This is kind of, we understand this was a crazy breakpoint. But there's a lot of things between the lines, like all the fucking announcements. And when I took my time in the airplane after 3 days of pretty much not seeing any keynotes to go through all the announcements, I was like, damn, that's a lot of fucking news and also big ones.
Insane.
So I think we do have a lot of things to talk about. So today on the agenda, we will start with Solana winning by the numbers. So I have a few graphs and numbers prepared for everyone that hasn't understood yet that Solana is here to be around. We will go through all major news from Breakpoint, and we will talk a little bit about some items that I find especially interesting, like the rollout of Firedance, or the official rollout of Firedance on mainnet. And everything you need to know about the future breakpoint locations, because, well, I got Vibhu on the show, so maybe we can tickle some alpha out of him. So we're going to do all that today. Are you ready, Vibhu?
Never been less. Let's go.
Awesome. So first of all, I don't know if have you seen this article by any chance? Do you know what that is about? Oh, wait. Sorry, sir. Say that again. Have you seen that?
I said yes. Yes, of course I've seen this. Yeah, I love this article.
Yeah, so pretty bullish. Most used chain, based on what I actually like the way how Joel John wrote this here. He was like, well, I read this tweet from DeFi Dad, most used chain based on what? And then he was like, what do you mean based on what? And he pulled out a bunch of data. Without going into the details, Solana's TVL grew 10 times since 2023. Its share of fee revenue is up there with Ethereum. At peak meme mania, it did 5x more transactions than Ethereum. Its user base grew plus minus 500% over the last 3 years, which is crazy. And its growth is a multiple of what L2s do combined. Could we do what we're doing here right now on Solana anywhere else, Vibhu? I think the answer is quite obvious. How is the sentiment still regarding competitive L1s and competitive L2s these days? Any hope?
I personally think that, and you can clip this, I think Solana has run away as a general purpose fast chain for execution. I think that we have a critical mass of developers, users, liquidity that's just too difficult to get to today. The fact is, there is like a default network effect to liquidity, which is that other people want to be around it. Other people are launching tokens and looking for that, want access to that liquidity, and you can't bootstrap that from scratch. You felt that at Breakpoint. You just felt like there's something different about Solana, and I came away thinking that Solana is more than a blockchain. Like, we are entering this stratosphere of communities that's only rivaled by nation states, where we have so many different segments. We have so many different factions and people that kind of care about their own things. And there's this vibrant economy that connects all of us together. It just happens to live on the internet instead of in physical space on land. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about Solana as a blockchain anymore. I think we are exiting the crypto sphere into a whole different territory.
It is actually right. Yeah. I think if we talk about Solana as a blockchain, then it sounds like it's a product. It sounds like it's just a technical product at the end, which it's not anymore. Like, it used to be, maybe when it was a white paper turned into a first version, not even on mainnet. But now I think it's much more than that. And I think you compare it to nation states. Is that what you're saying? Because there's so much dynamics to it.
Yeah, it has. it has all the aspects of a nation state other than land. It has a native currency, has GDP, it has politics,
Citizen,
it has
I
governance.
guess.
Um, I think this is part of the vision of Solana that I want to expose in the next couple of years. But I just think there's a lot more to it than just a product. I think the product is really good, the same way the U.S. dollar is a great product as well of the United States government. But it has attributes and a feeling that is unlike any technology on the planet. I mean, look, one of the coolest announcements at Breakpoint was Bhutan putting their sovereign gold reserves on Solana.
Yeah.
That went viral, and I mean this is not a normal technology platform. That's all I'm saying. I think it can be more than that. And watch this space. You'll see.
Watch the space, because right now, actually, it feels like, it feels like people are not really watching the way they used to watch. Even though, according to CoinGecko, Solana records its second consecutive year as the most popular blockchain ecosystem. Not sure how the fuck they exactly measure that. I guess CoinGecko, they have their own internal metrics for that and data. But it's capturing more than 26% of global interest in chain-specific crypto narratives. And I think we live in our little Solana bubble. So for us, it's kind of obvious. We're like, who the fuck is talking about anything else than Solana? Maybe Base a little bit, Ethereum and Sui, sure. It kind of checks out for me, depending on my echo chamber that I live in. But it's good to see a more rational or more objective report here as well that kind of confirms my echo chamber is actually not that far from the reality. Because who the fuck talks about Polygon these days, or Caspar or like, nothing against them.
Yeah,
if you're working with them, you're doing a great job probably. But I'm just very bearish on the future, right? Like, mindshare.
I tweeted the other day that you can see the crypto Twitter dynamics, which is that the only way for you to get attention is to either bull post Solana or FUD Solana. If you do anything else, you don't get any distribution. Like, everything Solana does generates this like outsized attention on both sides of the spectrum. So it's pretty clear this isn't just like a piece. This is what reality feels like, this chart, to me. And it's nice to see it reflected in some numbers.
That's what I'm saying. And I think, though, what we need to kind of figure out somehow, I don't know if it's going to change or how, is the total social awareness of crypto, which is actually based on data. I don't have the chart here right now, but I got it somewhere. The social awareness based on data from social media channels, YouTube and so on, is right now at a fairly low level, basically compared to early days of Bitcoin, literally right now. I don't know what you think of that, but I think it's a bit weird. Like, looking at where we are right now, coming from Breakpoint, and thinking of, we're like, fuck, like everyone that is important is looking at Solana, but the social awareness amongst the population is like at a almost like an all-time low.
I think that's because of product market fit, to be honest. Like, I think that the product market fit for crypto kind of narrowed in the last 5 years. Like, NFTs, which created a lot of social awareness, were very relatable. In fact, like, we had NBA Top Shot and like and art and these like things that like people kind of resonate with, understand. Over the last couple of years, we realized crypto has product market fit for finance, and like, finance is arguably the most important industry on the planet, alongside technology, but it isn't like something that everyday people are like talking about or thinking about. Like, you're not bull posting Visa, or like, your bank. But for people who are working in industry, obviously, they are. And so I'm okay with it, because I think that's pretty normal for the space.
Okay, that's actually a fair point. We don't have maybe we're not doing enough fun things here at Solana, at least for the normal people out there.
It will come, it will come. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, I mean, if you're in finance and you're convinced that it's important to take care of your own financials and so on, then you're a subset of people, a small percentage. Most people don't think like that, even if that's your opinion, that you're like, oh, financial sovereignty. Like, yeah, people don't give a shit usually. Unfortunately, they've been, like, they're all with their bank accounts, and they don't give a shit about who's taking care of their money as long as they can, pay for their groceries. But financial literacy is not something that is widely adopted yet, I think, in any society, really.
There's a huge amount of people who are investing in this stuff. That's pretty obvious. You talk to average people 30 to 50 years old, and like everyone's got something going on in their exchange, with Bitcoin or Solana or ETH. So I think that's okay. That's where the education starts. Even with institutions, we often have this convo at Foundation, and like a lot of times institutions start their relationship with crypto through investing in it, and then they start to explore what they can do with it. And I think that's totally fine.
Yeah, I guess so. Whenever someone asks me, like, what do you do? What do you work? And I'm like, yeah, I work in crypto. Obviously, the first thing that comes is like, oh, okay, how do I get rich tomorrow? Like, how do I invest, and how do I buy this token, and Solana, Bitcoin, and like you get. It's really difficult actually to put in 2 sentences how much more it is. Like it is tough sometimes for like a normal person. I'm sure you're facing the same problem sometimes when you talk to people that are not working in the industry, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, so we got another piece here, Vib, that has been going quite viral in the past days. And I don't know, I think you might know more than me about this, but there has been, at least sources say, it is still here on Solana floor, a sustained DDoS attack in the past week, peaking near 6 terabits, the 4th largest attack ever recorded for any distributed system. So DDoS attack, distributed denial of service attack, basically hacker sending bunch of traffic, too much traffic to website server network to overwhelm it with massive flood, I guess, to kind of, force the network to pay something or whatever to take it down, to stop the attack. So far, Solana has not really done anything. Like there has been no performance issues, while the Sui network was also targeted by DDoS attack yesterday, resulting in delays in block production and periods of degraded network performance. Is this is this kind of a positive news for Solana by telling us that our tech is good by now and we can actually sustain high bursts of traffic? Or is there some nuances here that you're aware of, people that I might not be aware of when it comes to the report as well? What's your current state of information regarding this DDoS attack?
If I speak too much, Trent is going to seek me out and murder me. I think we have we have amazing network engineers. So I think like blockchains are constantly under attack, actually, especially Solana. Like I don't know the source. I think we oftentimes wonder if it's nation states that are opening a short on Solana and then trying to cause downtime or problems, whether it's competitors. It's hard to kind of track these things down. But yeah, I think since like mid-November or something like that, we've seen some like elevated activity of attempted DDoSes. The 6 TB per second number came from the pipe network folks, who are some of the most cracked, like low-level network engineers that we have in Solana. And I think that was on a single validator node that wasn't the leader at the time. So they're still dealing with this stuff. But yeah, I think what's cool is that the user hasn't experienced this at all. Like, and we've been, the last couple months, like we've all experienced serious downtime from the internet's biggest cloud providers, like folks like Cloudflare and Amazon Web Services have gone down with different, different kinds of things. So yeah, I think one of the coolest aspects of Solana that we don't talk about enough is it's basically a system built to withstand adversarial conditions, because it's like, because it's distributed and it has to, it basically like chart, like if you want to attack the network, you have to pay for it. And that's kind of like the basic underlying economic model of blockchains. And therefore it's like extremely resistant to such things. That being said, I think the reason Trent doesn't want us to talk about it too much is that we don't want to egg on our opponents, whoever is doing this. Could, in theory, push more load and try to disrupt the network, and we're not necessarily trying to encourage that.
Right.
That being said, as Anatoly said on this topic, it is interesting that this is happening, because in order to generate attacks of this scale, you have to be spending millions of dollars on your own compute.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
even
definitely.
in the current
Yeah.
scope of it. Yeah.
Correct. So it just tells you, like, again, like back to that first conversation, Solana is more than just your typical software product. It is an economy, and it has, same way that like North Korea is oftentimes attacking and hacking into other government systems or trying to disrupt activity in different places. Like Solana lives in that same realm. Like there's real economic value there to be had if you can figure out how to exploit it or bring it down. And luckily, I feel comfortable that we have some of the best engineers in the world working on Solana that are able to have been able to build something resilient to this. So it's really I don't know. I thought it was cool, but we do want to note that we should be careful.
I get it now.
Yeah.
I get it now. Obviously, the more successful you are, the bigger target is on your back usually, and there's a lot of money right now at stake, literally and also not literally, when it comes to Solana. So big target, right? Anyway, so far so good. We're still standing, and we haven't even we haven't felt anything when it comes to performance, and we've been through a lot of shit in the past as well when it comes to Solana. We've been beaten down a few times. I think that's one of the reasons why the network is so resilient, because we always kind of got up, thanks to mostly the low-level engineers here, honestly, not me, right? Like, I'm just a guy talking about Solana. But if you're not bullish enough yet on Solana, then a few more little nuggets here. Stablecoin supply on Solana hits new all-time high yet again. I've said this, I don't know how many times this year. You can see how many times here, but I've said it a few times. New stablecoins are being minted all the time, coming to Solana. Either they're minted from people like Circle, 2 billion USDC on Solana in the last 7 days. So they're just, putting liquidity into the ecosystem, which is good for, everything else. Or it's been bridged, because also in the last 7 days, over $65 million have been bridged from other chains to Solana, including 35 million from Ethereum. That is always kind of for me when I read this. Obviously, I'm happy, but it is some sort of a middle finger in the Ethereum's kind of face that's saying, yeah, well, we kind of have more shit to do here on Solana, so might as well bridge your assets over. That is, it is what it is. I think liquidity flows where opportunity lies, and it looks like right now a lot of opportunity lies on Solana, arguably. And then last but not least, Solana continues to lead also in L1 and L2 chains in 24-hour DApp revenue. So kind of if you put all the pieces together, kind of makes sense. If there's more liquidity in the ecosystem, there's also more TVLs on all our beautiful apps, and the app layer benefits from that by printing money. The more money our app layer makes, the more healthy our ecosystem becomes, because they can also reinvest in their companies and so on. I think Vibhu, actually, you wrote a fairly good piece about that whole flow, how you perceive Solana. I think the other day, this week, if I recall. Do you remember the tweet I'm talking about? I can show you.
Nope.
You don't remember? How many tweets do you tweet per day, my friend? You're fairly active these days, not gonna lie. How do you come up with these tweets, by the way? Is it just thoughts? Just random thoughts, or how does your brain work?
Yeah, my brain doesn't work. My brain works only when I write for Twitter. As soon as I open that tweet box, my brain starts to churn. Otherwise, it's dormant.
I think you're actually serious, right? Like, that's probably
yeah, 100% serious. Yeah, I am. I'm not. This is not a lie.
I don't even find that tweet anymore. But yeah, you wrote something about how you perceive Solana, and yeah, I can't recall every single line.
The one there's nothing bigger than Solana, that one?
I think so, yeah. I think so. Where you talk about customer acquisition costs and how the money the apps make.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
More users.
Yeah.
Okay, it popped up on my feed. I think recently. You never know how the algo works, but
Yeah,
So
I think we are very pragmatic. Like, I think that's one of the reasons why builders choose Solana, because you don't get punished for building a real business on the chain. My least favorite thing of the last 2 years was people calling Pump Fund or Axiom or whatever extractive. You're allowed to come and build apps that make money. That is kind of the point. So,
that's been, you're lucky you're here with me and not Eno, because he has very strong opinion on that as well.
I
Not
know
lucky, but
he's wrong.
he'd argue.
It's okay.
Okay, Eno, you heard that. You're on Soul Brothers, Vibhu. No, I'm just kidding.
Eno
You
is
should
he's wrong quite often. Just clip that.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. No,
Wow.
he's the man. It's
we're
okay. I
all
mean,
the
it's
man.
good. He's allowed to have a different opinion. That's the wonderful thing about.
Here's the thing, Vibhu. I think
freedom
it's
of
more like a
speech.
personal thing. You might be right objectively, but we as we've been on Solana building here a long time, and we've seen companies like Bonk or ecosystems like Bonk and so on being very net positive for the ecosystem. And then we have this new entrant that comes in and makes a bunch of money and keeps offloading it on Kraken and swapping his Sol to USDC all the time. They did so much Sol selling. I know it's their revenue, sure, it's their right, but
I think that has very little impact on the price, because the fact is that the Solana went to $293 or whatever in their peak. So and there's well in excess of what you just mentioned is being traded every day. There's tons of liquidity around Solana. Like, I just fundamentally don't believe in this line of thinking. Like, if it was harmful, people could compete, and Pump Fund has been remarkably resilient. Even right now, with meme coins where they are, they continue to earn. And now they're doing buybacks. I just just don't believe that line, but I get it.
Fair.
Don't
Good
agree.
point. I mean, I hope you get it. And we're not here to talk about Pump's business model. Honestly, we're here to talk about news from the ecosystem, especially around Breakpoint. So I think that's what we're going to do next. And we have like a bunch of things that we're going to talk about here. And first, I want to talk real quick about Magic AI from Solflare, the first big announcement here that I can pull up. So what was announced by Solflare at Breakpoint is basically a new conversational tool for Solana wallets that converts natural language commands like token swaps or sentiment-based alerts into secure on-chain actions using probabilistic AI for intent parsing and deterministic solvers for execution. Sounds highly fancy. It is actually fairly fancy if you think about the whole vision behind it. There's early access right now to the tool at solflare.com/magic, and you already have the little banner as well in your wallet. And then that was kind of the main thing that came out of Solflare when it comes to Breakpoint. But they've been also giving out free Solflare Shields, which is their newly launched hardware wallet that lets you sign your transactions with your Solflare with a hardware wallet that is simply a card, basically, that you tap against to add a layer of security. What else we got?
George from Remora Markets announced Flash Trades integration. We have, for the first time on Solana, up to 10x leverage perps on tokenized equities, SPY, Tesla, and so on. I think they use do they use Magic Block? Maybe I'm wrong. I know they're planning to use Magic Block.
They do use Magic Block.
But yeah, this is something like Hyperliquid and some of these other kind of perps products have had for a bit. I think this is one of the most attractive products for retail, like being able to get 10x leverage on Tesla or strategy and so on is like pretty unique to crypto. So yeah, I think it's cool.
I mean, stocks on Solana is already pretty cool. Like that you can just, trade stocks in your favorite wallets even. Like you can click a button in Solflare and you can buy Tesla. Literally friends of mine from Serbia, they've never been able to buy stocks before in their whole fucking life. And now they can do it thanks to Solflare and Solana. But now you add leverage on it. You can even trade them up to 10x. I personally by now don't even know anymore where to trade stocks on leverage. I don't even have an account anywhere else. So for me, this is actually, my generation.
Try people use ETFs. Try people use ETFs. Right. You have a 2x, 3x bull ETF or bear ETF. This lets you get a lot more leverage. But it has a cost. Friends don't let friends use leverage. Be careful. Protect your assets.
That is always true.
It can be fun.
It can be fun, but it can also be dangerous. So no financial advice here. We're just talking here about pure facts, what you can do on Solana. We're not saying you have to do it. On a different note, Light Protocol introduced the Light Token program, a high-performance token standard enabling rent-free DeFi on Solana. This has been announced already a few weeks back, but now it is official and it's out. This innovation cuts the cost of allocating on-chain accounts by 200 times and boosts compute unit efficiency over the old SPL token on active paths by sponsoring rent exemption for hot accounts. So definitely also a fairly big announcement, in my opinion, that we have kind of a successor to the SPL token. That is the Light protocol now, and the Light token program. And I think it is also fairly easy to migrate from SPL into Light token program if apps want to do that. And I think it can add more composability and speed when it comes to DeFi applications. So I think 2026, we might see more and more protocols utilizing Light.
I love those guys, man. Swen and the Light team are just incredible grinders and engineers. Man, I'm really thankful that we have them around Solana. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Jupiter
updates. What came out of Jupiter?
Jupiter had like a bunch of announcements. I think 6 or something like that. They I think they announced it earlier, but they finally launched Jup USD, which is a yield-bearing stablecoin. They announced that they acquired RainFi, which is pretty cool. RainFi was already working with Jupiter, I think, for the Jup token. They released Jup Land from beta. And it's open source now, which has been a big ask especially after all the drama in the last couple months. They've got a refreshed Jupiter terminal, and they've updated their token verification program, and a $1 million referral rewards platform linked to user contributions to promote ecosystem growth. Don't know what that means, but sounds like
they have a new reward system. Yeah, so they implemented a new reward system to basically, incentivize community based on their behavior in the Jup ecosystem, with 1 million currently USDC in the rewards platform. How exactly that will be paid out and so on, you can find it on the Jup page. But definitely, I mean, Jupiter always ships a bunch of stuff. They have also shipped a lot of products, so we got a lot of news from them. Another thing I'm personally very excited about is Oro Gold, and they introduced yield for on-chain gold, which is pretty crazy. ST Gold, the first yield primitive for gold that is composable in Solana DeFi. So ST Gold has been announced at BREAKPOINT, and it is backed by physical gold because that's what Oro is doing. And now it allows users to engage in DeFi activities such as lending and providing liquidity directly on the Solana blockchain, making real gold composable in Solana DeFi, making a significant advancement in integrating real-world assets like gold with programmable smart contracts. I think pretty much what we're all about here on Solana. So big shout out to Usman, my man, who has been grinding on Oro since I know him. So really good to see that we now have physical gold implemented into DeFi. I think we'll see more integrations coming out of this very soon. Now, next one is also really interesting, and I don't know what your take on this is, but first give us a little bit of context what State Street and Galaxy have been up to, together with Ondo, actually, at BREAKPOINT. I think it's the first time I've heard them at least talk about this new thing.
Yeah, so Ondo Finance partnered with State Street Investment Management. State Street is one of I think like the second oldest bank in the US. It's also considered a GSIB, which is a global systemically important bank. There are only 27 banks in the world with this designation, which is that if they were to fail, they would take down the global economy. That's how important State Street is to. They have something like 50 or 100 trillion dollars of customer assets. Which is pretty insane. Yeah. Under custody. So they partnered with Galaxy to launch Sweep, which is a new tokenized liquidity fund. And the details are quite complex. But Sweep will be launching, SWEEP will be launching on Solana, and it's, I believe, the first thing that State Street is doing in crypto, as far as I know.
Cool.
And we're pretty excited about it because I don't know. I think we're working with now 4 or 5 of the GSIB banks are doing something on Solana. In fact, 2 of them announced at the event. So
yeah. We have another one coming up here after this announcement. But I think to me, Sweep, I mean, I think it deserves a whole episode itself. By the way, this whole product. So I need to get someone from either State Street would be great, Galaxy or even Ondo, I think, on the show as well to kind of talk a little bit about what they're up to here. But it looks like institutional products and liquidity, institutional money is coming on chain really, and they're seeking on chain exposure to on chain investments. I think that's what it looks like, because you're basically like Ondo tokenized their own fund, OUSG, and they are the lead investor in Sweep. But then a bunch of other asset managers like BlackRock, Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, Wisdom Tree, Wedding Management, Fund Bridge Capital, so lots of fucking serious names. That's the bottom line here, are coming to take part in it. And I think
Ondo
this is,
announced today, I don't know if you saw, that they're finally bringing their entire portfolio of tokenized equities to Solana. I think they have 100 or 101 stocks. And they're the largest tokenized equities player out there. So I think they started with Ethereum, and Solana is coming soon. And I have some alpha here that I can't share, but they're coming to Solana in a big way. So pretty cool to see them kind of just doing business around our ecosystem, in a bunch of different ways.
Wow. I mean, I see it here right now. What Vibhu's talking about, this is already out here. Breakpoint may be over, but the good news isn't in it. Hundreds of tokenized stocks and ETFs that inherit public market liquidity are coming to Solana. Okay, in early 2026. Wall Street liquidity meets internet capital markets. Hell yeah. I think the narrative couldn't be more obvious here. Like, if you haven't got yet the point that ICM is on Solana, then I don't know what the fuck you're doing. But State Street are not the only ones. We got JP Morgan, the world's most valuable bank, arranged a landmark debt deal entirely on Solana for Galaxy. A nice, neat little case study here, because JP Morgan arranged the first fully on-chain US commercial paper issuance on Solana for Galaxy Digital using USDC stablecoins for settlement. And that marked a milestone in institutional blockchain adoption because it hasn't been done before. Buyers include Coinbase, Franklin Templeton. The deal features delivery versus payment, DVP mechanics, and tokenization of short-term debt, which is commercial papers, enabling faster, transparent funding for Galaxy's 10 billion plus asset management, while leveraging Solana's high-speed network for secure institutional transactions. So I think
banger.
It's a banger,
absolute
right?
banger.
Like, JP Morgan I don't know, have they ever touched Solana so far? Like in this sense, I don't think so. I think they've been looking from the sidelines after being very pessimistic before. I think prior to 2021 and so on, they've been fairly, pessimistic together with the other big investment banks. And we kind of, I think now what happens? Like, I think they just got it, right? They're like, okay, fuck, we kind of have to do something here. This is the future of finance, and either we're jumping on board now or we're going to lose out. So now they're planning their first case studies. And also the case study itself is really cool. Like the, commercial paper issuance on Solana. I mean, they do it for a reason, right? I think this is a small thing for them probably right now. It's kind of a case study thing.
It is.
But they're trying to explore the benefits of doing it on chain. Which
I mean, the alpha here is JP Morgan, like they directly issued the token for this USCP on chain. We even in Solana's thread about this, we posted the SolScan link. You can actually see the deal happening on chain on Solana, and JP Morgan is the issuer themselves. So I think what it says is that the idea that Solana isn't secure enough to handle large transactions is totally debunked. The bank, I mean, JP Morgan is in a class of its own when it comes to like the GSIB kind of category. They're like 3% of the entire GDP of Earth or something like that. They're doing business directly. They're issuing tokens directly on Solana. I don't want to hear about Solana not safe enough anymore. Like, this is if JP Morgan can do it, you can do it.
I think this is exactly what we need right now, honestly, for Solana, because it shows, well, it just makes it more trustworthy, right? The ecosystem, to see these names coming to Solana. The news are here, by the way, from Solana main account. Around Breakpoint, we announced this year the first landmark US commercial paper issuance on Solana, and the token that Vib is referring to here is the USCP token, which is the tokenized version of Galaxy's digital commercial paper, which lives on Solana, and you can find it on chain, which is really cool. What else we got? JP Morgan. Next we have Xstocks Veep. What happened here? There's also some new announcement coming out of Xstocks.
Yeah, so Xstocks partnered with a company called Lore, which does like baskets of tokens, like pools of tokens that you can buy together to create the Mag7 liquid token portfolio, as they call it. It's very, very similar to like a bundle ETF where you have a bunch of stocks inside of a single financial instrument. In this case, you have a what's cool is this isn't mirroring a ETF off chain. The construction of the token itself, the Mag7 token, is all natively using tokenized equities underneath. So it's truly like not a synthetic kind of thing here. And these guys the Lore team is pretty cool. They've got like I've just been learning about them. They've got all these like interesting baskets of goods that you can buy. You can buy like they have a Solana ecosystem token that tracks like Bonk and a whole bunch of the biggest tokens on Solana. Jupiter, I think's in there.
Cool.
I'm not sure if it's like something users can play with yet, but it's one of the coolest ideas that I've seen in our ecosystem.
Nice, bullish. But the stock thing is new, I guess, that they do it now with stocks, because it sounds to me like they've been doing a lot of crypto baskets. Yeah, okay. And now you got the Mag7, which is essentially Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, Nvidia, Meta, Facebook, and Tesla, all in one vehicle. Pretty cool. Makes it easy. Now the next one, Vape, is a very personal one to you, because you're the mastermind behind this, Vibhu. XRP is coming to Solana. Solana announced the integration of XRP into its ecosystem through Wrapped XRP, WXRP, which is a one-to-one backed token issued by Hex Trust using Layer 0 standard. So now XRP holders can participate in Solana DeFi applications. We're back, which is huge. We're back. Let's go. Okay, people actually have been asking for that hat in the comments when we started the stream. They were like, "Where's the XRP hat?" So I know why you're so bullish on this, but maybe for people who think like, "What the fuck happened to Solana's mid-tier manager Vibhu? Why is he now an XRP army, guy? Why is this good for Solana,
Vibhu? XRP is just a super unique token because of its history and the fact that it's so liquid and such a large community, but it also lacks DeFi. Like it lacks sophisticated DeFi. So what we have been working on is ways to add DeFi ecosystems, complete DeFi ecosystems, lending markets, liquidity pools, looping, everything that people are doing on Solana today. Can we add that to any token out there? And XRP is a really good candidate for this for the reasons I just mentioned. And I was lucky to be joined on stage with Luke, who's an executive at Ripple, to talk about this. And you can watch this talk, and you can see that there's this is like something new for all of us, but I think it's going to be quite important. And we've you can actually earn yield on your XRP, which is super, super cool.
Yeah. So little some side stories here when it comes to XRP. I have a few friends in that ecosystem that are fairly plugged in, right? And they're very active on XRP. So one of my friends who helped me a lot to come up as a crypto founder, honestly. So huge shout out to Max. He backed the project on XRP that is building 3% yield for XRP holders natively on XRP. They have I don't know how they do it, because it's not a smart contract platform. That's the whole point. That's the problem. But somehow their product enables XRP holders to get 3% yield on XRP while being on XRP. And I wrote Max the other day, and I was like, bro, have you seen the announcement? This is a bit bearish for your portfolio company, because now they can get, I think a bit better than 3% by tapping into much wider set of DeFi opportunities on Solana. which is always, we're kind of cannibalizing away all these other DeFi opportunities that are usually much smaller in scope and even security and so on, because Solana is the global layer here for liquidity. Yeah, I don't know.
It's cool.
It's cool. I mean, just, except for it's gonna stay around.
It hasn't
anyways,
launched yet. So. It's about to launch. So yeah.
Okay.
Look out.
We're gonna look out for this year or what? Do you know that?
I mean, it was supposed to launch like tomorrow. I think they might have moved it back, but they've just. Okay. I mean, I know that they've created the address on chain and they're like pretty close to going live. So
cool. All right, we got a bunch more news here, Vib. We need to go through them a little bit quicker. So let's okay. Go through the next ones. You start with Camino. Yeah.
Awesome. Camino launched a bunch of stuff, but most importantly, they've kind of rebranded and they've got a whole new app. I don't know if it's V2 or V3. Some of the highlights of their breakpoint fixed rate terms. They are piloting with Falcon X. Borrow intents, custody borrows, BTC backed private credit vaults. They're building RWA DEX, build kit for embedding DeFi yields and apps. I think they're really taking the next step to become a full stack platform that anyone can kind of integrate into.
Yeah. Camino definitely bullish. They've announced a shitload as well, similar to Jupiter on Breakpoint. So yeah, shout out to Camino for all of this. Next one, also really bullish for Solana. Coinbase has integrated a new feature allowing its over 100 million users to trade any Solana token directly within the app through a DEX. A DEX that is basically tapping into Solana. It's a Solana DEX for Coinbase users, so that they don't need to list the tokens before users can actually trade it. So I'm pretty sure that, I don't know, you probably knew about this before the announcement, Vip. But
they've been working on this forever. This is like the biggest open secret, Coinbase. And I will be there tomorrow. They invited me to their system update event in SF. So yeah, Coinbase is like really diving deep into Solana. I think it's like one of their top 2 or 3 priorities as a company. And yeah, I think there's more to come here.
Interesting. If you keep in mind that they have their own layer.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. With yes, Base, very interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting. I think no comments.
We don't.
I've said it enough.
I mean, yeah. Also, just check Vip's Twitter. You will find enough comments on this from him on the timeline as well. Plus, I think we can expect more news in the coming weeks. What else we got? Ellipsis. What did they launch?
Yes. Ellipsis, some of the OG builders on Solana, they basically invented prop AMMs on Solana, which is like a revolution in on-chain price discovery, especially for Sol USD. They announced that they're launching Phoenix Perpetuals, Phoenix Perps, fully on-chain on Solana, Perps DEX, that's using innovations from their team over the last couple of years. It's going to be fully gasless. And you'll be able to do advanced strategies, and they opened a wait list at phoenix.trade. Phoenix is spelled PHOENIX. You should definitely sign up. From my perspective, from what I know, this is one of the most promising trading products that's coming to Solana, and probably pretty soon. If you're into that sort of thing, you should definitely get yourself on that wait list. You're not going to want to miss out.
Perps, predictions, and privacy.
That's a wink. It's the most awkward wink of all time.
Beautiful. We're going to clip that. BitGet launches UEX, a new way for their 100 million users to trade every Solana token instantly without a listing process. You can just copy paste what we said about Coinbase here, I think, because it is also a feature that lets their over 100 million users trade instantly any token by entering contract address, so basically DEX, that allows tokens before they get listed on BitGet to be traded through their platform. Fairly similar setup. I think we can see a pattern here, right, Vip, when it comes to these.
I mean, 3 of the top 10 exchanges, crypto exchanges, at Breakpoint announced that you'll be able to trade tokens using a Solana DEX without a listing process.
BitGet, Coinbase,
the future is.
What's the third one?
Bybit. So
All right.
yeah, so I think I mean yeah, the future is obvious. The future is Solana dexes. There's I mean it's absolutely pointless to if you're one of these exchanges trying to catch up to Solana's vibrant token scene to try to run the centralized listing playbook. It's totally dead. So everyone is just catching up to the reality, which is like, hey, just plug right into Solana's DeFi ecosystem and let people buy what they want. Just makes sense.
It does make sense. And they're actually not the only ones. First, before we get to the next one, who also is tapping into Solana users and liquidity, real quick, one news item from Titan Exchange, also our friends over at Titan, they announced something which is limit orders. Not a crazy innovative feature, but highly requested from its users, because Titan is doing fairly good job at doing what the fuck they're supposed to do, which is swapping tokens very well at best prices in the ecosystem, which they say they have. And now you can put limit orders as well. I think it's either live already or coming very soon, but that feature has been announced. Now, the other one that is also seeking...
It'll be on chain.
Yeah. Oh, it will be on chain. True. The other one that's also seeking Solana liquidity is, I think, Ethereum OG. What about this next one here?
Yeah, DYDX. They basically invented perpetuals, as far as I know. They've launched Solana spot trading. This is par for the course at this point. If you're not integrating Solana, you are losing market share. So awesome to see Legends of DeFi show up on our chain.
And I think going through all these announcements here, by the way, everyone, this is all fucking Breakpoint now. So I feel like I'm doing 10 Sol Brothers EPs right now at once, because usually we cover, 3, 4, 5 announcements from the past 7 days. Right now we have like more than 50, and we picked the ones that I felt, exciting about. So there's actually much more, right? But here, the last ones we have here, as well, Drift has announced some new features, especially 2 things that I think are very interesting, which is the new mobile app, which is coming in Q1. So Drift is also mobile first strategy here. They're gonna put an app on our app stores and Solana mobile store, obviously. And they also announced a new token, not a new utility token or something. It is DLP. It's their liquidity provider token, similar to FLP from FreshTrade, JLP from Jup, as I'm aware here. And it is designed to create deeper liquidity pools and enable faster trade executions on Solana's high-speed blockchain. So that's coming in Q1 next year, as I'm informed here. Awesome. Phantom. What did they do?
Phantom announced a bunch of stuff, but what I was most excited about was they're integrating Kalshi prediction markets directly in the Phantom app. Why this is particularly cool is they're not using the Kalshi kind of like deposit-based API. They are using the DFlow tokenized version of Kalshi markets. This kind of proves our theory, which is that tokens are a standard IO interface for financial apps, and it's easier to integrate the tokenized versions of these things rather than having to rebuild all the components from scratch. And you'll be able to participate in Kalshi markets with any Solana token,
cool.
Sol Cash, Jupe, etc.
Yeah, that is pretty bullish, actually. Also, nice user experience for people using the app. And again, Phantom, I think 20 million plus users now having a new use case, which is culture prediction markets, plus using any Solana token that is good for Solami. Then Sanctum, returning back to consumer products, they announced their mobile app as well. Another kind of theme pattern that I see here. At least there are the second ones here next to Drift that announced a mobile app. So I guess we'll also see that on Solana mobile, as well as Google App Store and Apple App Store. So, and they also plug in some new, I think, gamifications into that new app with their cloud pets that we are familiar with back from the Wonderland world when they had their first points program. So we can stay tuned for that in the next quarter. Colosseum, the grand winners have been announced. What do you think about the grand winner of Colosseum? Do you have any opinion on this? I know I love your opinion. So what's your opinion on Unruggable and the choice of Unruggable?
I feel like you're being facetious, but I honestly, you might want to take this one. Yeah, Unruggable is a hardware. It's a hardware wallet, right? Built specifically for Solana. Beautiful design. Goated founder, has been in Solana for a long time. Yeah, really happy to see it. It's really cool.
people have some concerns. They say, "Oh, it's just a hardware wallet. Why does it win Colosseum?" There's actually a lot of I've went through some comments, group chats, and so on, and people were like, "Well, aren't you guys supposed to, back things that are, that feel kind of new and that push, the boundaries of technology on Solana?" And now you're basically just picking the grand winner of Colosseum is just a Tezos copy, or the Trezor copy, or Ledger copy, what they call it, which is arguably probably not doing justice to Unruggable, but essentially it is a hardware wallet. And sure, it is kind of Solana native, which is their USP. But then is that a USP, or is it better to be multi-chain? So it's like, people have like, they just questioned the choices here of Colosseum to pick them as a winner. And yeah, I don't know. For you, do you agree? Like it's a fair choice to have a hardware wallet as number one, or do you think they could have?
I didn't review the submissions, so I couldn't really comment on that.
Yeah, I mean, they got more than 1,000 submissions, so I'm pretty sure there have been a few. I mean, I have a few friends that built really exciting things. They all got, a lot of them got some placements, but obviously not grand winner. A lot of people just say, bottom line, Colosseum is doing VC investments, right? So they're picking winners due to their economic potential. And I think Unruggable has a lot of economic potential. So I think that's why they picked it, just to be fair here.
Gotcha.
Now, one more. Let's pick this one here. Visa will allow US institutions to settle transactions using Circle's USDC on Solana. Vip, I think this is probably the most recent one we got on our list, right? The newest piece of news.
Just came out yesterday? Just the news came out this morning. Yesterday for you, this morning for me.
Yeah.
They built a pilot program with Cross River and Lead Bank, which are both regulated US banks, to start settling card payments directly with USDC on Solana. This kind of came out of nowhere for us. Like they piloted stablecoin settlements like a couple of years ago, and then we didn't see a lot of news from them on Solana. But this tells you about the speed of institutions, which is much slower than you would expect. It can take 2 or 3 years to bring a product to market from their initial exploration, which is why when you see all these mega institutions experimenting on Solana right now, you can predict that in like 2 or 3 years, these things will move from the kind of demo and pilot phase into what's happening with Visa right now, which is like full blown, integration on Solana's rails. So this is one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time, actually.
Why is it so cool for you? Like, why are you particularly excited about Visa's expansion here into the USDC settled Solana realm?
I think it's similar to the JP Morgan thing. I think it demonstrates the enormous amount of trust that institutions have on Solana. They're in a $3.5 billion settlement run rate. So to me, like, this is bringing a lot of liquidity to USDC on Solana, and real use cases that everyone's been talking about for a long time. Are they exciting from a fee generating perspective? Not really, because these are not contested state transactions. These are just, a $2 billion transaction on Solana costs 1/10 of a penny or whatever. It's not like generating a ton of fees. But it will have the impact of generating TVL on our stablecoin side. It does have the impact of demonstrating trust to the next, 50 banks that are considering where to build their stablecoin solutions. So,
does it mean anything for builders on Solana, by the way? Like, are we gonna be able to work in different ways now with Visa that we haven't been able to work before? I'm just thinking a little bit ahead here.
Yeah. I mean, my opinion is the future for this stuff is that you start with stablecoins, which is like the lowest risk kind of product that you can kind of build. But what happens when you start transacting in yield bearing stablecoins, or while you're in the midst of when you're holding, you have this gap between when customers are paying their credit card bills and then, the banks are releasing these funds to Visa. Like, they might be interacting with DeFi on Solana and bringing TVL, so they don't have the any time period where the cash is sitting idle on the book. So I think the first order impact isn't that interesting, but the second and third order impacts for the ecosystem might be quite great over the next 5 or 10 years.
Nice. All right. Cool. Then before finishing off this stream here with the last piece on my agenda, which is breakpoint locations. But before that, one last item that we already mentioned earlier, Bhutan launched the world's first sovereign-backed gold token on Solana. They announced it on Breakpoint, the launch of TER, a sovereign gold-backed digital token minted on the Solana blockchain through Galipu Mindfulness City, representing physical reserves stored in the kingdom and symbolizing treasure in traditional Bhutanese culture as the world's first such asset issued by a nation. Very interesting. Like to see that, honestly. Bhutan, of all the places to do that, also very interesting. I do see a lot of smaller countries and nation states embracing these kind of. Why do they do it, by the way? What do you think? Why these smaller? Because Bhutan is not really on the map, as some thought leader or something. I mean, no offense, Bhutan, but you're great. Anyway, like, why do these smaller countries or El Salvador embracing Bitcoin super early on and so on? I see this a lot. There's like some sort of pattern between these smaller countries. What do you think?
I think the reason is that when you're a smaller nation state, your economy is a lot less integrated with, with the global economy, and I think these countries are finding ways to interface and make it easier to do business with them. I also think that it's a competitive game, and what do you have when you're a smaller country that the bigger ones don't? You have the ability to move fast. Bhutan is a kingdom; it is a monarchy. If they want to do something, they can, and so they can start to outline, different competitive strains that might bring business to their country, might bring entrepreneurs, and start to carve out an identity for themselves. And crypto is one of the most exciting industries in the world, so it kind of makes sense to start figuring out how you can recruit our space into your world. I think this is one of the mega trends that you'll see in the next year or two is a lot of countries, smaller ones, starting to carve out and figure out sovereign strategies to interact with crypto, because they have money and they have real money and real assets. What they don't have is demand. So crypto can help them solve that.
Yeah. Fair. All right. Now, 2025 is coming to an end. 2026 is about to kick off. Breakpoint 25 just concluded with a big splash, I would say, and all over my timeline. Now the question is, can we make this even bigger? And the answer of Solana Foundation is, sure, we're going to go to London and do it even bigger. And the answer from the people is, hell yeah, I'm going to run away because I'm scared of London. A lot of shit posting going on the timeline right now, obviously. I think it's, one reason is that we're a little bit brainwashed from social media. My Instagram is full of how terrible Germany is because of all the people coming from other countries. Then I go there and it's actually not that bad. So we're all living in our little bubble of algorithms that, show us what we want to see. Just FYI, everyone, right? It's not everything you see on the internet is true. But London has been chosen, Vib, and that's already set in stone, I think, for next year, right?
Correct. Yeah.
They're probably already planning and everything. And I also think that you are fairly bullish on this location and you think it's a good idea to do it there, right?
I'm not bullish or bearish, but I understand the reasons why the foundation picked London. It isn't like a simple decision. It isn't like, oh, what's the coolest city for us to visit? Because if it was, sure, we'd be in Seoul, we'd be in Tokyo, we'd be in Singapore again. The foundation is thinking strategically. It wants to go to places that could be, future hubs, like hotspots for us. And what you're seeing in England is, potentially a crypto-friendly government coming to power over the next year. And the fact is, London is, despite what people say, it is clearly a tier 1 global financial hub. It hosts one of the biggest stock markets in the world, the London Stock Exchange. It is, we're hosting this in, probably the safest area of the city, at the very, very top, the best venue in all of England. It is, I think.
Wait, what?
You can.
What about the venue? Do we know already which venue we're in?
Yeah, it's Olympia. So Olympia is the premier event venue in England and in London. So it's a campus. Like we are building a Solana campus. It is one of our dreams with Breakpoint is to have everyone not only like come to the conference together, but stay together as well. Like there's a magical thing about you saw Breakpoint, those like unexpected conversations when you're walking down a hallway and you run into someone that you might know from the internet or whatever. We want that to happen more and more and more. So and it really is not, there aren't that many venues that can host this number of people. And with the requirements that we have, which are a lot of restaurants and other like side venues, hotel rooms, it needs to be easy to get a visa to go there. So it's just like, I get I understand the complaints because I see that content too, but people could have a little bit more empathy with like the amount of effort that goes into these decisions. It isn't like a flippant thing. Like we spend
Twitter.
We spend a lot of time like trying to do the right thing for Solana, right? And
100%,
it is what it is. Yeah.
I position myself on clearly on the side of Foundation here as well, because I think London makes a lot of sense. I've been growing up in Europe. I've been to London a few times. I've seen all the hate on it. I'm from Germany as well. We have the same fucking hate. I have friends friends that are from France. They have the same fucking hate. It is what it is, right? There is a social problem in the Western world. We probably can't argue that, but it's not that bad as you painted out, right? We're not going to fucking Gaza or somewhere and doing Breakpoint there. Just keep.
Should we? We could.
Probably. Let's stay in London.
2027.
2027 is actually going to be in Tokyo. I don't know if you know that yet, but at least we got totally to say that it takes more than a year to plan a conference, so not in 2026. But Tokyo's a great place for
we love Tokyo. Yep. Honestly, I'll just encourage, go out and find a venue and that works for Breakpoint in Tokyo. It isn't that easy, honestly. It's not that easy. So. And especially one that aligns with other events. Like we don't like to do these things alone. We want people to have multiple reasons to come out. So like, honestly, it's amazing that every single year, no matter what Solana Foundation does, Solana does, there's like this intensity of like passion. That is the best part about Solana. Is like people are passionate about every single thing that's happening and they want it to be theirs. And that's a beautiful fact. And I love it. So, keep expressing yourself.
What about, and that's the last question I'm going to ask you here, Vib, what about Accelerate? Do you have any alpha you can give us on Accelerate 2026 potentially? Or I don't know if there's alpha or anything.
So I don't know what I'm allowed to say.
Just say whatever you want.
I know what we're doing. So we've just, but let me put it this way. Like if you notice at the end of this year, we did an Accelerate APAC tour. So we actually reused this brand. This is from Accelerate, by the way, these awesome American glasses. So we already kind of took the liberty of extending the Accelerate brand to other markets. If we do bring Accelerate back, and by the way, we've already announced our first event for 2026, which is Accelerate Consensus. So that's in Hong Kong. I think you're going to see us use Accelerate in a similar way where we're going to do one-day summits around the globe attached to some of the crypto super events, but we're also going to bring Accelerate in some like other contexts that might not be crypto specific. But yes, the answer is yes, we will be doing Accelerate, but it isn't going to be the same thing as last year. Like I think last year, Accelerate was just like second Breakpoint.
Branded, huge New York.
Yeah.
Okay. So am I getting it right that Accelerate is not going to be like US only anymore as a brand? It is going to branch out and be more like these APAC, Solana APAC.
We think of it as somewhere between Apex and Breakpoint. So it's like kind of we call it like a super regional event. And they're probably going to be one day versus the huge event that we did last year. We'll share more soon, but we've just kind of made the decisions in the last, couple weeks.
Cool. Makes sense. But I guess we'll see definitely one conference in US, right? On US soil.
Absolutely. We have to.
That kind of checks out. Yeah. Awesome. Well, then let me close it down here for y'all, for Soul Brothers today. Quick shout out to all my friends and our partners as well here for helping Soul Brothers to succeed. So we already touched on a few news from our partners, Software obviously with their Shield and Software with their new AI feature. Get on the waitlist if you guys want to at software.com/magic. And also, I think Flashlight has been live already with the stocks on steroids since a while. You can go up to 10x on stocks, up to 500x on your favorite tokens. And you can do all that at flash.soulbrotherspot.com. So you can check that out as well. And obviously also much love to our friends from SNS. I met them a few times over at BREAKPOINT, and they've been cooking as well. And I think they have really interesting plans for 2026 as well when it comes to next versions of SNS and more identity-focused features, which I'm personally very excited about. So that's also very cool. And then last but not least, one more special shout out here to my friends from MonkeyDAO, because they have a new physical product that they announced together with my friends from Nomo. Big shout out as well to Daniel from Nomo. And you can now actually get your monkey boxes here, return to origin, and you can select the box and then buy it. All the revenues that are being made here on the platform are going to be used to buy back Nomo token as well, which is really cool. And you can also resell a box if you're not happy with the one you got, and pick another one. So check out as well the latest announcement on the MonkeyDAO Twitter page, actually, right here at the top, because it has been live since yesterday. With that being said, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to Soul Brothers yet again today with a special edition with Vip as co-host. Obviously, Eno knows very well as well. He just took a few days off after Breakpoint. Not everyone is a machine like Vibhu and can show up after jet lag here with his beautiful outfit and should talk about all these beautiful things on the timeline. When I say shit talk, obviously we appreciate your opinions. They are very valuable. And if you guys liked what you see, then please go ahead to subscribe as well to our YouTube channel, because we're growing it at Soul Brothers Pod, and we're shipping every single week a lot of exciting content, shorts, long form streams, all that stuff. And also check out the Twitter, of course, to give us a follow over there. Vibhu, thank you so much for joining today. It has been my pleasure. And you guys have a very good end of the week. Bye, everyone. Closing down the stream.